Hello there, it's me, Jaymz Bee, once again, a vodcast number 43. 43 vodcasts, that's a lot to look up. If you want to go to jaymzbee.ca, you can pick some and look at old interviews. This week, Lorenzo DiGianfelice is going to be joining me. He is the head of Vesuvius Music, and it's something I'm involved with. This is a little nepotistic this time, but I want him to tell his story about why he got into the music industry. Most people are trying to get out of this industry. He's jumping in with 2 feet, and I love this guy. So you're going to hear some positive news coming up in a little bit. But as always, I want to tell you about clubs here. It is Friday, September 27th, if it is for you. Could be like 20 years from now. But if you are in town this weekend, here are some things you might want to do. Old Mill Toronto is a wonderful place to go. The Homesmith Bar, classy, spelt with a C, not a K. It's a classy place. Good food, good drink, an amazing bartender, and always really good music. Tonight, it's pianist and vocalist Hannah Barstow with her quartet, which features Chase Sanborn on trumpet. I'll be seeing him this weekend in Newfoundland as well. That's pretty crazy. Saturday, you can expect more high-level playing. David Bookbinder Quartet. He's got Michael Herring on bass, Mark Kelso on drums, and Hilario Duran on the piano. Wow. Bookbinder, great trumpet player. But more than that, just a real artist. He has done so many cool projects. Schurenburg Jazz Circus, Nomatica, Odessa Havana, so many bands. And this is going to be a great quartet over at Old Mill Toronto. He's also a double Juno Award winner, even nominated for a Grammy. This guy is busy. So lots of good stuff happening there. Tuesday, Gene DeNovi. Wednesday, the Alt Sisters. And Thursday, Cuban drummer Ahmed Mitchell and his quartet. So basically, most nights, more than half of the week, there's amazing jazz over at the Homesmith Bar. oldmilltoronto.com is all you got to do to get all the listings. And all the shows are 7:30 to 10:30. No cover, $20 minimum. Moving over to Hugh's Room, lots going there too. Patricia Cano, the best thing to ever come from Sudbury. She has a gorgeous voice. She's done work with Thompson Highway that is renowned all across Canada. And she's going to be joined by some incredible musicians. Carlos Bernardo, Luis Orbegoso, Rich Brown, Marito Marquez, and Luis Simio, bassist who blends jazz and world music and is just so freaking talented. All of those guys are amazing. And all of that for just $25. HughesRoomLive.com. And while you're surfing over there, check out some other stuff. The Jitters, Blair Packham and the gang are there on Saturday. I remember them from the 80s. They were all over the radio. And they get back for, occasional shows. Monday, Tuesday, Dr. Mike Daly and his wife Jill, they have this series where they teach you about musicians. They play songs. This time it's Bob Dylan, the story of Bob Dylan. But it's edutainment, it's entertainal, and more. Okay? And October 2nd, Wednesday, Bobby Shue, the famous trumpet player, is at Hugh's Room Live. So there's lots of stuff. Go check out their website. Jazz Bistro, tonight and tomorrow, Paul Marinero. He's in from Chicago. Celine Peterson told me how much she loves this guy. I did some research, and boy, he has amazing reviews. So if you want to hear a real jazz singer, get down to Jazz Bistro tonight or tomorrow. Andrew Berg is there on Sunday. October 3rd, Amanda Martinez kicks off a Jazz Bistro Latin Festival. They're going to do a few days in a row of all different Latin artists. So jazzbistro.ca for all the information there. And at lula.ca, tonight it's Havana Club Friday that kicks off with Lady Son, followed by Havana Venture. And this is all part of the Women in Percussion Festival. And they have all for the next week, all kinds. Aki Takahashi is coming in for a workshop, and that's happening tomorrow from noon to 4. It's all ages. And if you're interested in drumming, or have a kid or a friend who is, bring them down there. There's no cover, and it's going to be amazing. I love Lula so much. They are so into the community. Like, I don't know anybody that is helping more than Lula. I think about people from all around the world when they move here, and when you walk in there, it's like the whole world is at your doorstep. It's just an amazing room. So tons of percussion concerts all this week. And then Thursday, Tia Brazda has been on tour, traveling around, playing all over the place. She's going to be super tight. I first saw her there. The first time I ever saw her live was at Lula Lounge. So this is going to be a welcome home show for her. And that is Thursday at Lula Lounge. A quick thank you to Barbarian Steakhouse. I was there twice last week. both times kind of business lunch and a business dinner. I love that place. There's no place like home, and that place is so warm and cozy inside. It's timeless. It's classy. It's got beautiful waiters who anticipate your every desire, and the food is good. So you got all that: the food, the service, the ambience. Barbarian Steakhouse, 7 Elm Street. Paul Barber, barberfinancial.com. He has been a sponsor of this forever. He's my real friend, and if you trust me, you can trust my friends. This guy will look after you. If you are in a financial mess and you want to straighten out and get some advice, he'll help you. If you have a company and you want to arrange benefits for friends, whatever you want, Captain Paul is your guy, barberfinancial.com. Finally, we're going to move over now to Patreon to thank everyone who's donated on Patreon. It's a crazy, beautiful world when people can donate to their favorite artists, give them $5 a month, and not think about it again. Just throw it on your card, walk away, and know you're helping. It's such a cool thing. So thank you to the people who are doing that. And if you want to, it's just there. Patreon.com. So easy. Now we're going to go see Lorenzo DiGianfelice. I met him about 2.5, 3 years ago. We were friends, but it was at this one jazz safari where it all happened, where he decided, I want to get into the music business. It's a strange and happy story. So let's go see him right now. All right, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
So I'm trying to pronounce your name correctly, and I'm sure I can because I've known you now for years. Lorenzo DiGianfelice.
Well, we can have the phonetic spelling at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, how do you do it?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Lorenzo DiGianfelice.
DiGianfelice.
There you go.
There we
100%.
go. You're from Rome.
Well, my father's from Rome, and I'm from my mother and father.
Are you here in Toronto? Like you were born here?
Yeah, I was born in Toronto, born and raised. My father was from a small town just outside of Rome called Morigone. And my mother's a French-Canadian from Penetanguishene here up in Midland, Ontario. So it's I come from a mixed marriage.
Cool. Cool. Now, your love of music, I want to talk about how you got here later. First of all, your love of music and Vesuvius Music. Tell us about how you came into the music business.
Well, it goes back a long time. As when I was a youngster. I mean, back, there's always music in my house. My father always had the Italian opera singers in the background when we were on Sundays having our lasagna dinner and stuff. So I was always into music. And on my mother's side, it was a very musical family as well. A lot of people played various instruments. But as a youngster, I just loved all types of music, and actually taught myself to play a few instruments. By the time I was 10 years old, I could play 3 instruments: piano, drums, and guitar. And then in my later years, in my teen years, I became a street DJ, mixing the wheels of steel, so to speak, and actually was in the club circuit here in Toronto. So.
Right, the same time as Chris Shepard. And
we were rivals back in the day.
Yeah.
And Chris went on to a great career. But at that point in my life, I still loved the music. Everything was going great, but I decided to take what we call the conventional tour of life, which basically is go to university, get yourself a nice job, make some money, and live happily ever after.
Right.
And it was a great run there. I'm a commercial realtor. I have my own company, very successful, commercial focused realty. And so I've done that for 25 years. But I've always said to myself, being in the industry that I am, if I ever became successful, I want to always give something back. I never knew what that was. It wasn't necessarily my industry. Mm-hmm. However, you and I got together a couple of years back on a jazz safari, and you really rekindled my love for music, because although I listen to Jazz FM and I donated to the station, that safari really solidified where I think I should have given back. And you and I guess, ended up at a top of the center or somewhere.
It was La Revolution in the Junction.
That's right, with Daniel Bassels.
Right, Daniel Bassels was singing, and that's when you said, how come she's not famous?
Yeah, and then you said, well, we finally got enough money to get her a record together. Right? So my mind started to go saying, well, maybe there's some role I can play to help people in the industry, right? And then I talked about it at the end of the night, and it was funny because they gave you my phone number, but you never called me. And so about 2 months goes by, and I give you a call, and I said, yeah, James, it's Lorenzo calling. You said, Lorenzo who? And I said, the good-looking guy with the ponytail. You said, I remember the ponytail. But that's about it.
And the fact that you had a special car.
Oh, yeah, I had my Fiat. I think Danielle was doing a poetry book or something.
Right, she drew
my
your
Fiat
car.
And so that was pretty neat. But at that time, you said, oh, I have an interesting concept. And I said, well, tell me what about it. And you said, I have this idea about helping 10 or 15 up-and-coming female jazz singers in the city, and we'll do a calendar concept. 12 months. 1 month is Mary, 1 month is June, 1 month is whoever. And I thought about it, and I said, can you say it to me again? And you repeated it again, and I said, that's stupid. And you said, you're right. So and then I said,
Calendars don't sell.
No, but
helping some women sing
sell.
is great. Calendars don't sell.
But the interesting thing was, I like the idea of helping more than one person. Rather than doing one person on the CD, we can help more people, right? So went back, and you came back with this wonderful concept of Muse, which basically is Zeus's daughters, 9 of them that went out and gave the world education and music. We have 15, so Zeus kind of, had some other dabblings. So we had some poetic license on that, and we created that wonderful CD together, Muse, and it was an unbelievable experience.
So your first record production as executive producer, you go into the studio, and can you describe, as a person who invested in something out of nowhere, who barely knew me, what was that first morning like in the studio?
What's the word I'm looking for? Exhilarating is one, interesting is the other. Here I am with you together, putting together my money together to fund this initiative. And I have to say one thing, you organized everything fantastically. Everything went according to all. Actually, it was almost like one of those We Are the World videos where you see all these different people coming in, hitting their tracks and moving out. So it was very, very interesting from that perspective. I actually like the fact that I actually got a chance to have some input as well, not just to sit there and be a fly on the wall. So bring some of my musical thing into the forefront.
You also kind of catered that thing crazy.
Well, being Italian, I got to make sure the people around me eat. So that's when I brought a whole spread that morning. But the interesting thing was the first singer, which was Gigi. She came in, and fortunately or unfortunately, it was her birthday the night before. So she, let's say, she partook in a little extracurricular activities. And she was had to be carried in by 2 people.
She was hungover.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was trying to be politically correct. But she came in and she looked at me and said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Lorenzo." She says, "Great." Then you were there, and then she was doing the first song. So she went into the booth, and I'm sitting to myself saying, "What have I gotten myself into?" And all of a sudden, I could tell she was humbling and hawing. And I said, so I had a bottle of Jack Daniels, and I kind of went over to the booth to her, and I clicked the bottle on the glass. She saw it. I said, "Do you want some?" She took a swig of it and said, "Let's do this." And that first track, that first beautiful vocal rendition is the one we used on the CD, and it was just unbelievable. And the rest of the day was incredible. We did all that in 2 days. It was unbelievable.
Right. 15 or 12, 13 songs.
13 songs in 2 days, so that was unbelievable.
The song that Genevieve Marentet, or Gigi, the song she sang, that's one of your faves.
It is one of my favorites, and it has become my wedding song. So we have another anniversary part next year. You'll see we have the whole. Well, hopefully, we'll have Tiki performing for us at that event. So
amazing.
It should be a nice event.
So after this record, now you've been in it a bit. Now you went from investing in one record to actually wanting to form a label.
Yeah, I the experience that we had together was such a great one, and the production quality and the song quality on the CD was so good, and it had critical acclaim throughout the city and sort of throughout the world in certain areas, right? Mm-hmm. And working together with you was fantastic. And I said, I think we should make this a full-time thing. And I know that the era of creating labels today is something that's dead. Mm-hmm. I wanted to resurrect it, but I wanted to do it something different. And the difference here is that we actually really care about the artists, and we're more of a philanthropic situation right now. Yes, future we want to make money because every company wants to make money, but our hearts are basically into the artists and giving them a platform that they can raise their voices and their pedigree in terms of the world stage.
What's the story behind John Finley and how that came about? Well,
John is an interesting character. I was at one of your salons a number of years ago after we started Muse together, and he was one of the singers on the docket, and when he did "Will the Next Fool Be," there's a song that I really love, and the way he belted it out, I just looked at you and said, "Who is this guy? We got to do something with this guy." And you said, "Well, that's John Finley." So he really rocked my soul in terms of how he sung and performed. And then when you told me the backstory that he was with Rhinoceros back in the 60s, opened up for the Rolling Stones, I said, this is a great story. So we had to get him on our label, and we got him.
And that was amazing because you had to raise a lot of money for that record, and it's not out yet. It's coming out soon.
Yeah.
But Lou Pomanti and Larnell Lewis and the whole band.
Yeah, Mark Rogers, Larnell Lewis,
Yeah.
Lou Pomanti, producer extraordinaire, really brought a lot of the good playing out of the characters and John's voice as well. And watching Lou work was incredible. Like just how many times went over that snare drum. I want it slower. And then I'm saying, what's he doing? But at the end of the day, when you hear it, you know why he did it. So it was really good to be behind the scenes that fly on the wall. But we did raise money for that situation, and on the success of Muse. So people are hearing Muse, they're coming into the company, and our structure is very, very simple. It's more or less, we're looking for people not wanting to invest and make noodles of money, but who say, listen, I want to be just like you, Lorenzo. I want to come in. I want to put some money in. I want to be part of the process, and that's what we're doing.
It's like you can renovate your kitchen, or you can go on a vacation, or you can change someone's life and make a record for them.
I choose to change someone's life and make a record.
Right. What would you say to people that are maybe skeptical about the arts in general, about the importance of making music today?
Well, there is some skepticism out there, and maybe people are looking at it and saying, what's going on in the music industry today. I can tell you right now, from what I've just seen the last couple of years, the music scene in Toronto is as strong as ever, but it needs financial backing. The old days when I grew up about selling records and getting promotion deals and record deals. It's all individual now with the Spotify and Bipify and Boopify and downloads and streaming. It's very difficult for artists out there, really good artists, to make a go at it, right? So I think if anything that we can do as people or myself and anybody out there in the audience who, like I said, you want to go on a trip or help someone's career, helping someone's career can go millions of miles to getting people where they want to be.
I think what's amazing is that you mostly observe and take notes, but when you chime in, you always have something really good to offer. Recently at Number 9 Studio, you asked about a guitar effect to change or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it was Eric Saint Laurent. We were doing, I think it was the Brian Eno stuff, and it was like a very U2 feel to it, and Eric had his guitar on a certain delay, and it was coming through. We did, I think, 4 tracks or 4 go-bys, and I still wanted more delay, and I wanted the guitar to be a little bit more in the forefront. And I was, quite honest, I was a little nervous to kind of say anything, because, here's Eric. Eric's a great guitarist, or who am I to tell him what to do? So I said to Eric, I said, what drop delay are you using? He's using 4. I said, can you use 6 and punch it up a little bit? And when he did, it really made the track, and I really felt, he came after me and said, Lorenzo, you nailed it. That was a really good suggestion. Right?
Yeah, so did the engineer.
Yeah,
I think he was shocked because usually when people invest, they don't really form opinions, they just have them. And in your case, it was an informed. So that's because you're a guitar player, that you would actually know what to say.
I bring a little bit of that background to the game. Right?
Yeah. So going back, you made money in real estate so you can do music now.
Yes, and hopefully, maybe in the future, it'll be all music and less real estate.
Hilarious. So, coming up, October the 9th,
yes.
Wednesday at Lula Lounge, what's going to happen there?
So, Vesuvius Music has we've booked Lula Lounge for October 9th, and we're doing what we call a showcase review. So, we're going to have 2 sets of music. The first set's going to be the Tiki Collective, and part of that will be some of the stuff from Muse. And we're also having the Tiki Anthology, which is a Brian Eno, James Bond tribute. What was the other one? Ennio Morricone. And then Instrumental, which would be the mental side of things. Tiki is a very mental collective. And I say that with all due respect, guys and girls. But the second half of the show will be our introduction of the illustrious John Finley. We'll be playing some songs from the new Finley record. We have, I think, 6 tracks in the can, and we're going to do another 4 more. And I think that album will be coming out sometime February, March of next year, 2020. But I encourage all of you out there to come out and see the show. It's going to be something to not forget, and to come out and see the Finley experience and the Tiki experience.
Right, that's about probably 8 singers in one night.
8 singers in one night, and I would encourage people to book for dinner because Lula has great food.
Yeah.
And the mojitos there are fantastic. I can attest to that.
Now, what do you think is coming up next with things? You've got Finley, Tiki Collective. What are other genres or other things that you imagine down the road?
Well, we're still in the initial stages, James, and I think you and I are always bouncing ideas off each other. We're looking at, I think, is it Jocelyn Barth? I think we're looking at doing a CD together with, and we're working on that. We have a few other ideas in the can. I don't really want to let the cat out of the bag right now. I will just tell the listeners to check out Jaymz Bee website or the vesuviusmusic.com, and you'll see what we're up to. There's a blog there, and there's also an events page that you can see that shows you all the events that we're doing in the city.
Righto. Well, it's amazing that you've been putting your money where our ears are. Thank you for doing that. And can you leave us with a Christopher Walken impersonation?
Nah, I think I'll, it's crazy. No, I'll leave it out for now.
Okay, we'll do that live.
Okay, perfect.
Live at Lula.
Sounds great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, James.
Cheers.
Adios.
Thank you, Lorenzo. You know, it means a lot to me that people actually donate to charities like Jazz FM or Unison Fund, you know, things that help musicians and artists. If you want to produce your own record like Lorenzo, just find me here, jaymzbee.ca. All right, I'll be back next week. I hope you get out there and support live music wherever you are, and we'll see you next Friday. Cheers.